Yo everybody, what's going on? This is Keegan from Kman Reviews bringing you the next episode of Review Recall. This is for most of the albums that I have heard in February. Now, I know I didn't get to all of the albums on here. There might be some big omissions that you might see. I hope to get to those next month if I can, but for now, let's not waste any more time. Let's dive in. Yeah, yes, I like this a lot. It really reminds me of Party Pupils, the way it uses the disco sort of housey style to make these subtle bops. Very euphoric record, worth a listen. So this guy comes out with a TikTok hit that was extremely mid, and then drops his debut mixtape here, which is also extremely mid. Who the hell cares? You know, there's nothing inherently wrong with this record at all. It's really just predominantly a covers album, which is simple, easy, and pretty effective at such a late age. But I just feel like this record is really starting to show his age. He lacks the vocal power to make these tracks soar like Sinatra did. And while you don't have to do that, the songs are just so ingrained in history that doing that performance is almost par for the course. Hearing them down with a bit of a weaker, more frail voice almost feels a bit sad. I don't know. I still think it's fine. Just a very late career Willie Nelson project, and for what it is, it works. I really don't know what else I expected going into this. It's a Smokepurpp EP. I got some anger, got some energy, viciousness. It's nothing I'd fall head over heels for, but it's not terrible. It is so incredible how far Robin Thicke has fallen from the spotlight ever since Blurred Lines, because I saw this album absolutely nowhere. And apparently he's been releasing singles and teasing it for about a month now. And honestly, after hearing this a few times, I kinda understand why he's been forgotten. It's really just some bland R&B, kind of returning back to his mid to late 2000s style, some slight grooves. It is mostly inoffensive, and if you're a fan of older Robin, you'll probably enjoy this. Am I the only one here who still keeps up to date with Kevin Gates? He had that one hit in 2015 and then kind of vanished from the spotlight. This is his first project in 2 years, and it sure sounds like Kevin Gates. But in my eyes, that's not really a problem. He's got one shtick for the most part, and he holds on to that very tightly here. Not much experimenting like on some of his other projects, but he's animated, he's entertaining, and delivers some fiery performances with no help at all over these wonderful instrumentals. Still a good album, although this won't do much if you're an outsider trying to get in. So apparently this is a soundtrack album to see his directorial debut with a film of the same name. And let me just say, this album is sentimental, sugary, and almost exceedingly happy and upbeat at times. And this whole album just kind of feels like overkill. I did catch that this was supposedly marginally better than the accompanying movie, which apparently got critically panned by everybody. And while I do think there's nothing sonically wrong with the songs here, they do start to homogenize a little bit too much. The high points are certainly high and memorable, but there's just not enough of those high points for me to give this a proper recommendation. Yeah, these dudes are just completely running on empty at this point. I'll admit I did enjoy them back in the early 2010s, but now they're just a husk of what they used to be. Straight up copying ideas from other bigger songs. There is not a lick of creativity left in the group, and their last few albums have started to show that, this one included. Oh my goodness, this album is great. I was honestly just gonna gloss over this, and I had that whole mentality if I have time for it, I can throw it in. And I am so thankful I didn't skip over this. Very open, vulnerable, and direct in its approach. It's extremely comforting to hear stuff like this when the world is in isolation, and has been for almost a year now. I adore the instrumental work here. Tash really throws their skills as a multi-instrumentalist on this record. It's also very wavy, relaxed, easy listening type for the most part, and it's so beautifully performed and effortlessly crafted into these complete vibes. Absolutely worth a listen, don't skip on it. God, I really missed hearing these guys so much. I listened to them a lot during my early to mid-teenage years, and this is just a personal wave of nostalgia for me. This catchy, infectious brand of pop rock has always been my bread and butter, and it's good to hear that not much has changed from them. I'll be returning to this quite often. While I'm not typically head over heels for this type of electronic music, there were definitely some standouts here that I enjoyed quite a bit, but it is also a 17-track electronic album, something that has yet to capture me and make me fully enjoy the genre. So it's fine, I may return to a couple tracks here and there, but as one full album, no thanks. Ooh, this is good, like really good. It's split up into two parts, one with much more yelling and aggression, and the second half dealing with softer moments with all caps and lowercase respectively. I love both sides equally for what they are, and I also love how refined and polished Slowthai's flow is now. Unfortunately, though, I do think this is a step down from Nothing Great About Britain. Something about the direness of that record made it so engaging and captivating, and that's not really here, but this is still a compelling record and absolutely worth your time. Wow, Hayley really nailed the folklore vibes on this. Holy shit. This sounds like the meme format where it'd be like, Mom, can we have blank at home? And this would be like folklore at home. It's got some nice breezy melancholic vibes to it, but as a whole cohesive listen, it's a little bit basic, starts to run a bit thin with these simple acoustic guitar melodies. Not a horrible listen at all, but just kind of a bit underwhelming. I will happily take Petals for Armor any day over this. Very noticeable polish on this new Architects album. A good handful of these tracks have very clean choruses and push beyond the creative limitations set by the band themselves, and I think this soars very high. It isn't a complete departure from their sound, so old fans should still enjoy this, and I could definitely see this being a good gateway album to introduce yourself to Architects and their music. Normally, I'm not the biggest fan of the more folky side of singer-songwriter that Spencer occupies, but the reflective moments, the soul-searching, and just how soothing it all feels just swept me up. And also, Human Touch, best closer of 2021 contender. I'm not even going to do that list, but still, I loved this record. So Peggy listed this EP as triumphant introvert music, and I think he nailed that description. It's really good. So this album was my first introduction to Nothing Nowhere's music, and I really like the genre fusion here. Emo rap, trap, rock, punk, R&B, it's pretty eclectic, and I think some definitely work better than others. Some of the more rap-focused tracks are good sonically, but the punches just aren't there. They're a little bit weak. Everything else here works pretty well, though, and I adore the underlying emotional value behind the music here. A lot of it is just extremely appealing, and I can see this resonating very well with a bunch of people. Oh my god, one of the most boring, tedious, and generic rap albums I have heard in years. Why are we keeping this guy here? He's like an amalgamation of Gucci Mane and Kodak Black, and I swear his garbage ad-libs got so annoying so quickly. The album is 49 minutes long, and it feels like a fucking eternity. An easy frontrunner for Worst of the Year, and if something tops it, it'll have to be a massive dumpster fire because I don't see anything diving lower than this. Okay, wow, this is really good. A lot of tonal diversity here, but it never feels like the path hasn't been paved. This is a very confident record, and it knows what it needs to be and does it very well. I did a bit of extra research too, since I'm not the biggest fan of this band, and I found their longtime producer was sadly killed in a motorcycle accident, and apparently that plus Chris Cornell's unfortunate passing fueled this record with the feeling of heartbreak, and it shows in a bunch of these songs. A lot of the lyrical themes here talk about dealing with difficult moments, death and despair, but yet also comes in with a sure-footed badassery to lead the listener down this sonic journey. Great album. Boy Shit alone put this album in top tier, but then you got bops like Good and Goodbye, Baby, Follow the White Rabbit, and Stained Glass, all in one project that feels incredibly concise and beautifully packaged. I will eat that up. So this guy comes out of nowhere with a TikTok hit that was extremely mid, and then releases his debut EP here, which is also extremely mid. Who the hell cares? Wait, this is the same thing I said for BRS Kash. Ah, whatever. Shit's still mediocre. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode of Review Recall. There are definitely some notable exceptions I'm sure you probably caught. Mainly stuff like King Gizzard, stuff like that which I do hope to cover in the next month's Review Recall. So, I will see you then, but until that, thank you everybody so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Peace.